My worry is one. O'Sullivan is going to be arrested. Mark my words, this week or next week. But what I want you to know is media today. You are the first to know this. O'Sullivan is going to run away from this country. And we're going to make sure they take him out of the country. So we must get a case as soon as possible. Angaphumi kule country. Azosiphoqela ukuthi la Madlanga ngokurana ikanti wathathaphi.
Paul Sullivan, umngani kaRamaphosa.
Sawubona bhuti omdala, sawubona. Uthi wena siyazini ngoPaul O'Sullivan. Into siyazi ngoPaul O'Sullivan ukuthi uMalema uke wakhuluma ngoPaul O'Sullivan eParliamentary 2017 uzuma president ukuthi uPaul O'Sullivan has captured the SAPS, ucontroller imedia, ucontroller le njale uzuma bekayifake ku SAPS kuthiwa Cloud Mutsweni, and then uzuma zange yenze next ngoPaul O'Sullivan. And mawuthi wena Paul O'Sullivan umkane kaRamaphosa is a lie, because Paul O'Sullivan was actually the head of communication for the Gupta media. Bese in extension wagcina a controller ne SAPC under Cloud Mutsweni. Uye beka negotiate a discuss le deal le NN7 ne New Age ku SABC umkani kaMagupta sinoZuma, Jacob Zuma. That is what we know about Paul O'Sullivan. We also know ukuthi uPaul O'Sullivan bekasebenzisana negovernment bekasebenzisana noZuma ukudestroy amaphoyisa la eSouth Africa, especially intuna zamaphoyisa. uPaul O'Sullivan lo sikhuluma ngaye uye bekasebenziswa ngesikhathi uZuma acosha ubhekicele yaseMpumalanga ayenza umsebenzi wakhe after leaving Nkandla. Before aya eMpumalanga uthe today wahamba ekseni wayohlala noZuma for 45 minutes, wamtshela ukuthi baba mina ngiyahamba ngiye eMpumalanga siyocala lento kuthiwa Crime Awareness Week, iviki lokutshela abantu ngecrime njengoba si-approacha ama-Christmas kanje. uZuma wathi uhambe kahle mfana wami, macedo uhamba ubhekicele, macedo ukushiya uZuma eNkandla. uZuma wayenza i-media briefing wathi uMinister Bhekicele has been suspended, but azange atshele uBhekicele ngesikhathi uBhekicele anaye. Ngesikhathi uPresident Jacob Zuma acosha uNhlanhla Mkhwanazi for ukuthi uNhlanhla Mkhwanazi beyangafuna ukuyenza i-corruption no minister wakhe uNathi Mthethwa, wahamba uNhlanhla Mkhwanazi waya emzini kaJacob Zuma, wafika watshela uZuma ukuthi Zuma sinenkinga singamaphoyisa, uminister wethu wamaphoyisa lo mu-appointile uyasifostela, uyenza ukuthi thina sibe involved kwezinto esiphuma emthethweni. uZuma wathi mangabe wena unenkinga neminister yami ungawari mfana wami, ngizokukhehlisa ukhona umuntu ozenkena esihlalweni sakho. Bese subsequent to that, in less than 2 weeks uZuma wacosha uMkhwanazi wafaka uRia Pierre. Ilokhu sikwaziyo ukuthi uPaul O'Sullivan bekarana amaphoyisa under uZuma, yena no minister wamaphoyisa lo bekaappointwe uZuma kuthiwa uNathi Mthethwa. Namhlanje sikhuluma kanje, uNathi Mthethwa uyenze into yenze bonke utsotsi abebasebenzisana noZuma. You know ukuthi bonke bafekile ukufa, bayenza ngathi bafile, fake death. But umuntu okhona ufile kodwa there is no picture ya funeral yakhe, azanga akuna umushara nowayi1 othiwa uthatha isidumbu sakhe, akekho umuntu antente ifuneral yakhe kodwa kuthiwa ufile, kuthiwa Watson. And it's not the only one, we can count all of them. Abanye bafika ukuthi bona bayagula, baphuma bayodla kamnandi, bo agree namhlanje nabo bathi bayagula. But all these things happened under Zuma. Go and check ukuthi zonke lezi zinto okuchiwa siyenzakele uPaul O'Sullivan uzenzile, we ucale nini? Ilokhu sokwaziyo indaba yokuthi ududuzile noZuma bathathe abantu babayisa eRussia la kuliwa khona impi, yes affect si South Africa, because iUkraine ingeza izokuthi iSouth Africa ithumela abantu le bazosihlasela thina. And ngapha thina si country azange sithumela amasoja, uZuma yena wathumela imikhofu yakhe. iyasi-affecta ndoda njengoba kufe abantu. Labantu basuke la eSouth Africa bayi-20 bese i-3 akusakhulunywa ngayo, sokhulunywa nge-17. Usho ukuthi i-3 yafa yabulawa le, and thina akusiyithi esikhulumayo. Labantu bayayikhulumela benemlomo yabo, bayakhuluma ukuthi uDuduzile uyabathathile, bayenze ividiyo iyatrenda la ku-social media, ungayi-ignore, bayayikhulumela bona. So ungaloku uzama ukwenza blame shifting la. Lo mkodo wena uthetha abantu laba iseRussia bayafa le, azange batrain njengoba athatha abanye ngesikhathi ayi-president, wathatha amasoja wethu wayisa le Central Africa Republic ukuthi bayogada imine yabantwana bakhe uZuma, bafika le babulawa. Amasoja abalanda le abotsotsi bangena ku Central Africa, bathola amasoja ase South Africa bagade imine yabantwana bakaZuma, abotsotsi babulala la masoja. Asikhohliwe thina, sifane nani.
Just like professional.
Yes, she's very unprofessional. Then she would be, because she used to work with that criminal Beamish.
Oh, right, just go and sit next to you.
The case, I know that the charges that have been brought against me are trumped up charges intended to do nothing more than to protect criminals. And in the fullness of time, this country will see, I'm very fortunate, in fact, that they are doing this to me, because I have the resources and assistance to get myself out of this position. The sad news is this is happening to many South Africans on a regular basis, and the injustice that they suffer, I'm now suffering that injustice on their behalf, so that the whole world can see that we are becoming a police state in South Africa.
Exactly, what are the charges?
It's all charges relating to Paklani and his house, and they are false charges. They are absolutely false. I won't even dignify Paklani by repeating those charges in public, but it's intimidation, extortion, and what. And frankly, an impersonating of an IPID officer. They are so stupid. We recorded every one of the meetings we had there, and we have it all transcribed.
It's unfortunate I cannot answer you on that one, but we view this matter in a very serious light, taking into consideration the fact that if you are a naturalized citizen of a country, you are not allowed to have more than 2 or 3 passports. You can have as many as you would want to as such, but citizenship. I'm sorry, I'm mixing myself here. You're not allowed to have actually passports for that you would use from other countries. So hence this arrest was effected on Friday.
The question I'm trying to get at here is Paul O'Sullivan being treated differently to many others who use multiple passports in this country?
Well, I don't know, maybe Joanne, that maybe you might have other information in that regard. Mr. O'Sullivan is a high-profile person in the country, and as such, hence we received this information from Home Affairs. We had to come in because it falls within our mandate. And I think we should also congratulate Home Affairs systems who are able to pick up such kind of things, because you would not want to see this kind of activity infiltrating, coming into the country, because you never know what might happen if such kind of things might happen in this country.
Is it true that you're considering or you're following up on what may possibly end up in a treason charge against O'Sullivan?
I don't know where this treason thing is coming from, but there is an investigating team that is busy talking this matter. I don't remember anybody talking about anything about treason. So I think let's just leave it to the investigators themselves. They will be able to know exactly what kind of charges, if there are any, that needs to be added.
Hangwani, let's look at the events of 2 weeks ago. I believe Paul O'Sullivan wrote an email saying 20 million rand had been put towards using the Hawks, South African Airways, the National Prosecuting Authority and the South African Police Service to stop the Gupta family from extending their influence here, implying, of course, that he had challenged authorities like the Hawks to stop him from exposing this story to the world, and implying that's why you arrested him.
Well, I think that's just a conspiracy. People are not talking about it. It's just that we don't do such kind of things. They're not talking about the emails that we get, personally that I get, that involves my family as well. So there's a lot of things that people don't know what has been happening behind the scenes.
Paul O'Sullivan, unfazed by his court appearance. His charges include impersonating an IPID officer, extortion and intimidation. He alleges Acting National Police Commissioner Khomotso Phahlane is behind the charges. O'Sullivan has been investigating the price tag of Phahlane's luxury home in Pretoria.
Corruption in this country has to stop, and I'm going to take a stand. And the stand I'm taking is for all South Africans, not for me, not for white people, not for Indian people. It's for all South Africans. And if I have to spend a day in jail every now and then to protect the rights of all South Africans, I'm prepared to do it. If I have to spend time in prison, I will do it.
O'Sullivan maintains there is nothing odd in his relationship with police watchdog IPID. He has reportedly been assisting the unit with the Phahlane investigation.
My relationship with IPID is the same as the relationship between any complainant in any case. I will assist with the investigation, and when they can't understand something, they come and ask me questions. I show them.
O'Sullivan is due back in court again on the 19th of May. Sipho Sturman, SABC News, Pretoria.
And it's a well-trodden path. And for me, it's upsetting because I'd always grown up to know Paul, as a crime-fighting, against state capture type character. And that's not the case. What we've seen is that he's in business with Mr. Motti. He got issued shares in 2014. Since then, he's borrowed money from Mr. Motti. And there's a settlement agreement which clearly outlines what Mr. O'Sullivan has to do is withdraw sworn affidavits against the Motti Group and related parties. Now, that means effectively every single...
Yeah, just stop there, Mike. That's a big, big statement. So what you're alleging, and I don't want to be in court next to you.
I'm not alleging,
let's try and keep it... Okay, so what you're stating is that Paul O'Sullivan has issued affidavits and he's withdrawn them. Have you got evidence of that?
I've got...
On Sunday evening, the 24th, I received a couple of WhatsApps from Paul O'Sullivan. And Paul O'Sullivan carries on in his normal unhinged fashion. You're a crook. You're talking about me. I'm coming for you. You'll sleep with one eye open. I don't know what it is with this guy, but he is totally unhinged. I look at the documents pertaining to the interdicts against him. It's always the same situation. There's no rational discussion with this guy. Why? Oh, and then he adds a copy of my ID, which he got from Home Affairs. Excuse me? Are our information not supposed to be confidential? The state as the custodian must look after it? Oh, he's a very powerful man. Oh, he says to me, I will regret in coming on his radar. No, Paul, you don't understand what the tsunami looks like. believe me, you've put yourself in the crosshairs of a major tsunami. On what you've sent me, I have sent to various people, and they have all got one comment. This is a big crook. Paul O'Sullivan is a big crook. And all I'm saying to them is, give me the information. Give me the information. It's very interesting. The lady who signs his so-called affidavits, which is quite nonsensical, because he believes and he thinks, but he doesn't put proof forward. Oh, and he calls Jerome Kwanazi a crook. Everybody is a crook, except Paul O'Sullivan. And yet, how did he come into South Africa? The letter of 1982 from Mr. Wetterson in Natal to the Director General, whatever you want to call him at that stage, of Internal Affairs, Home Affairs, SS van der Merwe. Oh yes, and Paul O'Sullivan was willing to do military service. Where did Paul O'Sullivan do military service? Did he declare that he was working for MI6? The British intelligence at any stage? He's got companies in St. Helena, there where the Boere were incarcerated in the Boer War, 1899 to 1902. What's going on in St. Helena? A couple of years ago, a landing strip was built, which is now operational. But there's a massive British operation functioning out of St. Helena. Interception of communication. The British is part of Operation Five Eyes, which is the USA, Britain, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. And they co-opt a lot of other people in other countries. South Africa is co-opted too. At one stage, they were paying $100 million to South Africa. Where did the money go to? In which black hole did the money disappear? And Paul O'Sullivan has companies based out of St. Helena. And the lady who signs Sotirova, his affidavits, is with him, a director in those companies in St. Helena. And Paul O'Sullivan is linked with drugs to Cyril Ramaphosa. Remember? Chico Greber says in his work, High Treason, Ramaphosa, Mr. 9 Wasted Years, was provided drugs and children for sex by the CIA. And Paul O'Sullivan tells us Ramaphosa, 9 Wasted Years, is the best president ever. Paul O'Sullivan tells us he took out Jackie Salebe. He took out Kele. He took out people, and all of them linked towards drugs. What did Paul O'Sullivan do? Paul O'Sullivan took care of the competition. He cut down on the competition. Does it make sense? Look at the dots, connect the dots, ask the questions. The same people says to me, Paul O'Sullivan doesn't have one bank account in South Africa in his own name. That's very interesting. He's got an Irish passport. Hey, Yubaluba, you. He's an Australian citizen. He's South African resident. The link to Australia is a haven for drugs, to and fro from South Africa. You see the links? Or am I just being paranoid? And then he threatens me. Paul O'Sullivan, bring me the proof. Then I can also know what you're talking about. Give me the proof. Don't be shy. You've got my number. If you really want to investigate things, then investigate. Why don't you investigate the links to Cyril Ramaphosa, your best president ever? Because you are part and parcel of driving the whole drug-infested, money-greedy situation. And you're implicated with money laundering. Don't worry, I will keep you guys posted. There's a lot of things to come out. A whole lot of things. And Paul O'Sullivan is clearly abusing the system and his position as a so-called reservist.
Fellow South Africans, we have reached a point where silence has become dangerous. When a single man who doesn't hold any known government position seems to move with more power than those we have elected, we must stop and ask, who really runs this country? I'm talking about Paul O'Sullivan, a man who for more than 3 decades has hovered around the corridors of power, unelected, unappointed, but unbelievably influential. A man who publicly boasts about his close proximity and unrestricted access to the president, the police minister, and the very heart of our security apparatus. Yet no one can clearly explain what his exact official role is. Who gave O'Sullivan this authority and who holds him accountable? This isn't about conspiracy, but about transparency. Because transparency is the cornerstone of democracy. And when power hides in the shadows, corruption breeds in the dark. O'Sullivan's name has surfaced repeatedly, connected to law enforcement matters, investigations, and now high-profile court actions. But here's what is truly alarming. Whenever anyone dares to question him, they are either attacked, insulted, or threatened. When General Mkhwanazi exposed shocking details about corruption in our police service on July 6th, it was neither the president nor the police minister who reacted first. It was O'Sullivan. He went on national TV and public platforms, attacking General Mkhwanazi viciously, promising his downfall, even though General Mkhwanazi on that day did not mention his name once in his presentation. What gives O'Sullivan this audacity? Where does he get the power to publicly declare war on serving law enforcement officials and face no consequences? What gives O'Sullivan the confidence to speak as though he himself is the system? And while he's doing all this, the mainstream media, who should be asking questions, stay silent. Instead of investigating who O'Sullivan is, what his background is, or what his legal standing is, they put him in front of cameras, hand him both the microphone and headlines. Why? Is it fear? Or is it something deeper? Maybe a network of protection that shields certain individuals while tearing down others? Let's remember, this is a man who has openly claimed to hold 4 different citizenships. Yes, you heard me correct. 4. In a world where dual citizenship alone can raise national security red flags, we are expected to believe this is normal. That a man involved in our security conversations, in our policing structures, in our public debate, can hold multiple foreign allegiances and no one blinks. This isn't about hatred. This is about national sovereignty. If you or I were to influence state institutions in another country without clear authority, we would be arrested. But somehow, this one man has been allowed to do as he pleases for over 30 years. And no one in government, no parliamentary committee, no oversight body has ever said enough. Maybe that's why we keep losing faith in our institutions. Because when the lines between government, private influence, and personal power blur, ordinary South Africans suffer. We lose trust, we lose respect, and we lose hope. We cannot continue to watch quietly while unelected figures like O'Sullivan dictate the direction of our justice system, our policing, and even our democracy. South Africans deserve to know who influences our leaders, who sits behind the curtain in the dark, and who pulls the strings. And that's not radical, that's accountability. So I'm calling on other political parties and our civil society organizations to demand transparency. Demand that every individual who claims proximity to power be investigated, be verified, and be held to the same standards as every citizen. If O'Sullivan's involvement is legitimate, let it be proven openly. If it's not, then the law must take its course. Because no one, no matter how powerful, how connected, or how loud, should ever be above the Republic. We are not necessarily calling for chaos. We are calling for order. We are not calling for hate. We are calling for truth. And truth must always serve the people, not the powerful. So to the media, to the government, and every South African who still believes in justice, it is time to ask the hard questions. Who exactly is Paul O'Sullivan? What gives him this power? And why in a democratic South Africa does he remain untouchable? Because if we fail to demand answers now, we may wake up one day to find that the people no longer run this country, but that the powerful and connected few do. South Africa belongs to its people, not to those who hide their power behind closed doors. Let's reclaim accountability. Let's reclaim transparency. Let's reclaim our democracy. Thank you.
The ad hoc committee members wants Paul O'Sullivan be arrested like yesterday, guys. So what happened is Cedric Nkabinde, the chief of staff, Yagasenzo Mchunu, he was giving testimony in the ad hoc committee parliament. So as usual, you present your testimony and then after ama MPs parliament they babuza imbuzo. So when he was cross-questioned, they asked about Paul O'Sullivan. Uguti, how does he know Paul O'Sullivan? And then he started explaining Uguti Paul O'Sullivan is one of the person on block Uguti angatoli promotion in Nana, understand? And then after that, There's a lot of things that he mentioned. I will just share you the video now. And then after it, they went to eat dinner as usual. And then while he was at the dinner, uCedric Nkabinde, he received a message from uPaul O'Sullivan. uPaul O'Sullivan, manje, wenzani, uyamgwajisa ukuthi, yeah, I will find you. You will spend your days in prison. So, and then after, then the MPs in the parliament, they started deliberating with, no, like we can't bring a witness in parliament for a testimony. Then the next thing, the person lo akulumanga and then start sending messages, I'm kwachisa, I'm tusela threatening in front of the whole South Africa. We want Paul O'Sullivan be arrested. With next week, Nasogodu Ket Matlala, Ekhoshi Mampur, Paul O'Sullivan, he must be on the next cell, Salsponanaye footy because of where was Ukulum. Let me share you the video whereby some of the questions that they asked uCedric Nkabinde about Paul O'Sullivan.
According to your knowledge, is Paul O'Sullivan also interfering with the NPA?
Yes.
Do you know who is his link in the NPA?
No, I don't have a specific individual, but why I'm saying that, it's because a case against Paul O'Sullivan, it gets stuck in the NPA.
Okay, so the case for which he was charged and prosecuted related to what?
It's related to what I'm reading out in this report.
He misrepresented himself as an IP employee.
All those things, yes.
Yes. Do you know?
And he was charged, and McBride was charged, and the case was withdrawn to get a racketeering certificate, which is up until now. Instead, it was removed from another prosecutor to the other, but it does not come back to court.
Yeah, because
for 5 years now.
Because we requested the NDPP when she was here to tender a progress report in that regard, and we were patiently waiting for that report. But do you know who was the prosecutor of the case? Who was dealing with the case?
Yes, I know.
What is his name?
Advocate Mashego.
Is he still working for the NPA?
I think so. At DPP's office.
So he's the one who was handling the case?
Yes. And the investigating officer of that case is Major General. He's now acting as a divisional commissioner here in the head office, SAPS.
Yes. So,
and then after being asked those questions, and then uPaul O'Sullivan watumela this message akwachisa uCedric Nkabinde. Here's the video.
This message, which I received now, into the record.
Yeah.
As I'm eating there, I received this message from Paul O'Sullivan.
Yeah.
Get ready, you lying crook. I am going to make sure you spend some years in prison. You were bribed by Mkhwanazi and Mabula. Now you will pay for your crimes, guaranteed.
Yeah. Okay.
And then after uCedric Nkabinde sekayinikele testimony yakhe about whatever happened, and then after that, MPs in the parliament, they started deliberating with what's the way forward. Then this is what they discussed and they decided.
Before this committee, we just want to put that on the record, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Ngola.
Thank you very much, Chair. In adding to what Orb Nomvalo is saying, we'd already made a request for Mr. Paul to come before this committee. But I think, Chair, it is important to put it out there that we bear responsibility to protect the witnesses that are assisting the work of this ad hoc committee, and won't tolerate or stomach any form of intimidation if it comes out of a testimony that has been given before this ad hoc. We agree with you, Chair, that we're going to await the Legal Services Department to give us available options to attend to the matter decisively, and if needs be, attend it aggressively. Thank you very much, Chair.
Honorable Matthews.
Chair, I think we must also note that this is not the first time that Paul O'Sullivan has sent such messages. There's a PMG recording when the police committee sat, I think it was in 2018, and he sent a similar message to all the MPs. So it's not just about the witness that is here today, but it's also about us as members of Parliament and as members of this ad hoc committee. So a very strong message must be sent out to it, and I think we should also explore our legal obligations and options on what we can do about him outside of him just coming to appear here. We can't be threatened in front of the whole nation, actually internationally, by this Paul O'Sullivan. It can't happen.
Okay. Honorable James. Honorable Sauls, do you want to say anything on this matter?
Yes, Chair. I think very imperative that Mr. Nkabinde should send a screenshot of that message to us so that we also have that on record. And I think the whole country will be watching. What will we as Parliament do? If there was ever a time to show the power vested in us to save this country and put South Africans first, it's now.
Okay.
We can't allow that.
Thank you so much. Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. And I guess Mr. Nkabinde must screenshot that before he delete the message. And I think as MKP, we've opened cases and the police acted. We'll open a case against him. Because we can't have a thug intimidating parliamentarians and witnesses here. Like my honorable colleague Matthias said, in 2018, he did the same thing. We cannot allow that, Chair. Hence, I said earlier, we should not be a banana republic or a mafia state. And I hope the police are watching this. And unfortunately, this human rights issue sometimes take time for a person to be arrested. But if I was in charge of the police, or if we're in America, you will be arrested tonight. Thank you.
Honorable Shongwe.
Chair, just to emphasize on Ubabu Nkabinde, I think when you are screenshotting, just don't only screenshot where there's a name. Kindly screenshot where there is numbers as well, where we can see it's his numbers. You are our guest, so for this Paul O'Sullivan to understand what South Africans are no longer playing, can he report to any police station tomorrow? Because personally, I am going to open that case. This is our house and you are my guest. We will deal with this person. If his attitude thinks he can run in South Africa like he did, we will deal with him. So please, Chair, as soon as next week when we're going to seek at Madlanga, can we meet Paul O'Sullivan in that jail so that we can deal with him in that jail and leave him there? Thank you, Chair.
So